Welcome to the On Your Side podcast. I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell. Gary, I have a bone to pick with you as we are just jumping right in today.
Oh, my goodness. What did I do?
Do you remember the last time we were recording a podcast, we were talking about my car, how much I love my SUV.
Oh, no. Yes.
And I said, Gary,
I know.
if it breaks down and you jinx me, you're going to be in so much trouble.
Don't tell me.
The check engine light went on that day.
No.
It did.
That day?
That day. I swear on my life. I was angry, but also laughing kind of maniacally, like, Gary has to hear about this.
For people who didn't hear that episode, we were talking, what was that topic that day? Talking about car repairs?
Yeah, I think so.
And I was like, oh, you got a pretty good car, and it's going to go a long time.
And
I'm like, it hasn't broken down yet. And you were like, no, but if it does, I'm going to blame you. And now you're telling me it did.
Here we are.
Well, I have a very powerful,
I guess. Can you manifest it fixing itself and clearing that check engine code?
Did you get it checked out yet?
So we did. We went to one of those stores that can run the code, and it was something not such a big deal. So it's like super minor thing. We still have to tweak. We have to do the fix still, but it's not something that's impacting the drivability of the vehicle.
Okay, thank goodness. I am sorry I put that out in the universe and that actually happened to you. That's craziness. Well, we're talking today about money. Of course, one of my favorite topics that we've discussed before. Money, 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 money.
Oh, wow.
Money.
I didn't know you were a singer.
Oh, well, I'm not, but I pretend to be.
Here we are,
You know that song, don't you?
I do, but I'm not going to sing it like you did.
Listen, you have 3 beautiful kids in the younger years, and there's one thing I know that you have done and are doing that I think is a great idea. You've already kind of introduced the value of money to them, and you do a lot of work with, say, like quarters.
Yeah.
And tell us real briefly, for some of the listeners who've not heard this before, give us the brief Campbell way of doing things.
I know. Well, so for my 6-year-old, he was very interested in toys. Like, he wants to get a toy every time we go to the store, and we shut that down immediately, right? We were like, nope, that's not what we do. We get toys on birthdays and holidays.
Right.
But he wanted a way to figure out how to get them. So we were like, great, if you make your bed, we'll give you a quarter each time you make your bed. And he was able to earn quarters and earn different, build up that little savings account in his piggy bank. And then he gets to buy things at the store if he wants to. Right now, he's got a whole bunch of quarters in his piggy bank because he's saving them. He wanted to kind of maybe see if there was something a little more expensive in the future that he liked. So now we're graduating beyond like the small Hot Wheels and going on to the bigger stuff. Yeah.
You kind of answered my own question, and that was, does he just go out and blow it, or does he now have the mindset where he can kind of like, I'm gonna keep this going because I made up a lot of beds to get this far, so I don't want to blow it right now.
At first, he was willing to just blow through it in a second.
Oh,
but I have such anxiety over that I was like, I think I put the fear of God in him.
Yes,
I was like, ooh, are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure? Let's take a minute and think. And so now he does kind of that thinking process a little bit.
It's money can be a very intimidating and sensitive topic.
Of course,
at the same time. No matter what your age, but it could really be kind of a weird topic to talk about with your kids. I was reading not long ago that you should start as early as 3 years old with very, very, minor, but, good ways of introducing, like what you're doing with the quarters. I think that's a great idea. More parents probably need to do that. But we're talking today to Walter Clarke. He's an author who just released a book that he wrote called The 401 Kid. How are you today, Walter?
Excellent. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So first out of the gate here, do you have kids, and how old are they? Are they younger or adults?
So I have 2. I have 28 and 25.
Okay, that's exactly my ages too. So yeah, empty nesters, my wife and I. Did you do anything special talking to your adult kids when they were younger? Did you have any kind of a plan at that time?
Unfortunately not. This book has really been an after the fact journey of looking back and looking at things I did, what I could have done, conversations that I could have. I've been a lifelong financial educator to people that come into wealth. Started a program back in 2000 at ASU. But this is just really a culmination of how the conversation evolves over time. and how parents ask, I wish I would have learned this earlier. I wish I would have, And so hence the book.
Well, it's always been said that with age comes wisdom. I mean, the older you get, yes, you are getting older, but you also gain more information and data, and you're educated more than you were, say, back in the day when your kids were, just growing up. So yeah, you need to pass that advice and a lot of what you have learned, Walter, down to the younger generation and the younger parents. So tell us a little bit about this book, the 401 Kid. What do you start out in? Do you just jump right into it? Tell us it.
Well, it's a behavioral book, and really the segment which is absolutely not served whatsoever is what I call the 0 to 10 years old. And by that, when you talking earlier and said, I'm teaching my 6-year-old about quarters, and should we teach it a 3-year-old? My premise is that it's proven in the data that anything we learn prior to the age of 3, language, music, sports, our minds are very pliable. And so it's my view that we need to teach earlier, not later. And so by introducing concepts and exposing our kids to various financial basic concepts about, how to learn, how to grow, how to create value, what that means, what a dollar is. Once they get that first quarter, you can do 4 things with that quarter. You can spend it, you can invest it, you can give it away. And so just really that mindset of what that thing is. And when they're young, our kids, first of all, they think we're smart and they like us. Okay. That's 0 to 10. And they want to be like us. And so we have such a tremendous opportunity to really teach foundational habits about life and money in this zone. So really my book is really picking up the conversation at any level, but it really focuses in to get parents to understand that they have an opportunity to educate their kids at this level. And if they don't, guess who's going to do it?
Somebody else is.
It's the internet.
Yeah.
And it's that internet and that destructive nature of you got to have this, and it's a very materialistic world rather than a world of personal growth and impact and creating value. It's just really shaping those foundational values. And so that's what I'm, super passionate about. And I also have a kids series called The Adventures of the Magic Penny that you'll be able to buy, that really educates those 0 to 10 years old about this little penny that talks to this little boy and this little girl about life lessons.
So what does the conversation actually look like with a 2 or a 3-year-old when we're talking about money? How do I start that? Because I can tell you from having a 3-year-old, the attention span is very short.
Yes.
And so I'm not sure. I don't know how to do that. What does it look like?
So anyway, we're developing this series of children's books that you'll be able to read to your child at night. And the first one, which is actually out right now, it basically is, Dad, why do you have to go to work today? Or Mom, why do you have to go to work today? He's like, well, I have to go to work because I have to earn money. So it's just a picture book. And at the end, there's 10 lessons. And at the end, it's a quiz. So you walk them through the book, and you talk to your kids when they're right out of the womb. And they don't understand what you're saying. But what happens is their minds are so adaptable to these kinds of conversations. So you talk to them as if they understand in small segments of time. Talk to them about your life, your job, what you do, how you do it, why you do it, how you build a life with you and your spouse and this house and food. And again, by doing that, they're not going to understand, but they very slowly begin to assimilate. It's like language. How do kids learn 5 languages before the age of 4? It's because we expose them to those particular subjects. And so by doing that, what you're doing is you're foundationally teaching them these core principles of growth and money.
I think there are a lot of parents out there who would say, I have no business teaching my kids about money. I don't know anything about money. Nobody ever taught me about money. and I'm staring at a stack of debt and a whole bunch of stress. So what can I possibly bring to the table?
Well, you're the exact parent that is perfect, because if you want to know how to do something, teach it. And then there's so much free information on the internet, from Dave Ramsey to all of the financial educators that are out there. I mean, with YouTube and the internet, there's a gazillion people that you can follow that will show you very fundamental, basic money characteristics that you can adopt, and then teach your kids about those characteristics.
One gift I like to give to whether it's kids of friends or relatives, like like in the 3 to 5, maybe the 6 years of age, I like to give them $2 bills. Like give them like 5 $2 bills.
That's fun.
It's pretty cool because one, you don't see a $2 bill very often, right? And when you do get one, even the moms and dads, when they see it, they're curious to see who's on it.
Who is on it? I don't remember.
No, to tell you the truth, I forget myself. I know.
I got one from my great grandma. I do remember that as a child.
Now, you remember that. Isn't that something? I think that says a lot, that you remember grandma giving you a $2 bill. And I think it's a great way for kids to kind of start learning about money and the value of money. And, moms and dads can, say like this is a $2 bill. Like 2 $1 bills equal the 2. It's just get you talking a little bit. The basics about it. But you can only take that so far. When you start getting to the older kids, it's a little bit different. But is that a wise idea? Like, I mean, the $2 bill thing?
Any of those things is good lessons. We really basically start out with one of the first things you teach your kids is why learning is so important, and how to learn, and how to fail, and how to struggle, and do those things. And then once you get good at something, then that creates value. And then when we create value, we get paid for that. And so you really kind of talk to them. You can use your day, you can use your profession, you can use other people, you can use, who made this television show, who made this app. You can really talk to people, talk to your kids in a way that as if they understand. And then as they grow older, you'll be surprised at how much they actually captured from those early discussion. There's a phenomenon on the internet right now. It's this kid, they call him the tractor kid. I don't know if you've seen him, but his parents are a farming couple, and he knows everything there is to know about every John Deere tractor on the planet. Okay, and he's 6 years old. Why is that?
I think I've seen this kid.
Yeah.
His parents taught him from the earliest of ages, when he didn't know anything about anything, but he just grasped it. He idolized his parents and his grandparents, and they built this foundational language to him. And now he's literally an expert at 6 years old.
Yeah, I've seen this kid before. It seems like a genius. So we've talked about the ages, say like from 0 to 5, how to introduce the money talk. What about 5 to 10? What do you do at those ages?
It's really the same. It's just an expansion of the learning and value equation, and really teaching our kids that self-esteem comes from within. We measure our progress based on our internal compass of how we learn. And as we learn, then we expand and we create more value. So then you can start to introduce things like the lemonade stand and the paper route or the dog walking service. But what ideas do you have? What kind of service can you offer to us as a family, or to the neighborhood, or to your friends? Or what can you do to help somebody else, which is that value component? And then people will pay you for value. Mm-hmm. So just grasping those things, then all of a sudden $1 is generated. And then once $1 is generated, like, holy cow, now you can spend it, you can invest it, you can, give it away. So these are the things that our kids, so now you begin to teach delayed gratification. I love the fact that you said, hey, my kid wanted to go crazy and spend everything. You just can't do that. And you need to talk to them that, listen, you can spend some of that dollar, but some of that dollar has to be put away in your investment garden. And you can explain how money works like a garden. You plant a little seed, and you water it and it grows into something and it generates something, it produces something. And so these very basic types of conversations sort of instills this foundational discipline. But if we raise consumer kids, that when they get $1, they spend that dollar, that's very difficult to unlearn as they get older, because you're going to lose them somewhere in the 11 to 12 range. We have this, what we call the parent intelligent meter. And that is where you're a genius from 0 to, let's say, 10 or 11. And then from 11 to 19, you go from genius to idiot.
Oh my goodness.
So now that you have grown children, are you back to being a genius?
No, I'm still an idiot. No,
well,
listen,
I feel pretty good about myself because I'm in genius category.
You are with the quarters.
Yeah.
You are. No, I have with my two boys being 25 and 28, they do know the sense of money, and I think I've done the best I can. And at this point, they're on their own now. I mean,
and they think you're a genius. They're back to valuing your opinion.
It's so funny. My youngest, the 25-year-old, I don't want to call him cheap, but he is very frugal. He watches exactly where every nickel goes and how it's spent. And if he spends it and realizes he didn't have to spend that much, he beats himself up.
Aww.
Yeah, so
that's because he has a Consumer Reporter dad.
Yeah, and a little bit of a frugal dad as well. So that rubbed off on him.
I love this. So you brought something to my mind as you were saying, teach them about this garden. I'm going to take my quarters and for my kid. And when he earns those quarters, if he saves them, I'm going to teach him about interest and he'll get a penny.
Yeah.
Each month if he saves.
You are a genius.
I think that would be super fun. That teaches interest and compounding, right?
Oh, I wish I would have tried that. You are a genius, Susan Campbell.
I hope I can afford it. This kid might really
start
earn a
away.
lot. Yeah.
So let's just say he has $3 in quarters in there.
Let's not do some actual math. Okay.
Well, how many pennies are you going to give him?
I guess I could say like for each quarter, we'll do a penny.
Okay.
Right?
I like that.
Each 25 cents earns a penny.
That's not bad.
That's a pretty decent return on money.
That's a great way, right, Walter? To kind of like
100%. What you're doing is you're showing him something visually, but you got to be careful because there's a big difference between saving and investing. Saving is delayed spending. Okay, so we want to be super, super clear about that. It's a start, but you really break down the spending, investing, saving, giving category. And so there's 4 things that happen there. And it's that conversation of like, who do you want to help? Like who would you want to give? Because you can give your money away. You can spend it, which is for you, or you could save it to buy the truck later on. But then the real key here is the investing side. When are you going to start your garden? And so you bring those disciplines. So then all of a sudden, when our kids get money, they kind of stop and say, oh, wait a minute, because the desire and the motivation is to spend everything, is to run right to the store when they have some excess. And congratulations to you by exhibiting frugal characteristics to your kid, because our kids really watch what we do. Like if we don't educate them and use like my material or other people's material, they're just going to watch and they're going to do whatever they see. And so if you're a spender, you're going to raise spender kids. If you're frugal, you're going to raise frugal kids. If you in your profession are struggling financially, it's likely your kids are going to struggle financially. And so again, our kids kind of mirror what we do, kind of going back to the tractor family, but you can disrupt that by learning, by reading, by going to the internet and changing the course of your kids by conscious choice. And that's really what the book is about. The book is really a parent's book. Like, hey guys, you have a responsibility, you have an obligation to educate in this particular subject. And if you don't, lots of really bad things are going to happen.
Susan, we were talking about, gardening and, putting that's, I'm hoping your kid doesn't take that like just like it sounds. And
Oh, he will. He likes dirt a lot.
And takes the quarters out
There's gonna
into the
be-
dirt, and you're going to say, "Where's the piggy bank?" Well, Mom, I buried them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to grow so much money.
It's like you hear me talking about him. Yeah, no, that's definitely gonna happen. We're gonna have to get out like the metal detector to find where he's like buried everything.
No, that is so funny. All right, let's go ahead to let's skip ahead to maybe some of the older kids, maybe the teens or the tweens, like maybe 15, 16. I hear a lot of people either say getting them a debit card is a great idea and it's a bad idea. What do you have to say about that?
I mean, money exchange is important for the kid to know, how to transact, whether it's a debit card or credit card. I don't think those fundamentally are not big issues. It goes back to the four things: spend, save, invest, or give. And then what are you going to do with that dollar? So then you're in your teens. Parents should open up a Robinhood account, which is a great account, which allows you to buy small fractional shares of investments. So that then becomes a mechanism where that's their garden, that's their personal garden. And where we think it's important is the reason it's 401k is because we want parents to participate with their kids and their kids' economic future. So as an example, like if my kids do something really cool and when they were younger, when they made money, I'd match that money. So you invest this money in your investment account, I'll match that. So you get a free lift by my personal match, which really incentivizes them to learn that behavior.
Did you ever have a conversation with your parents growing up about money?
Yeah, my parents were very open about that conversation. They wanted to have the conversation, and never about like specific numbers or anything, but I always felt like I was aware that of what was going on in our family.
Yeah,
and I felt confident that if I had a question, I could go to them and say, hey, I'm not sure what to do with this, or, I don't know how to deal with this. And then I got my first job. I was a lifeguard when I was 16 years old, and we went to the bank and we opened the checking account right then and there, and money got deposited into the checking account.
Yeah. And then you started to see, okay, this is what I get. This is my value for the service I provide.
My value of $5 an hour.
There you go. I never really had a conversation with my mom and dad, but I watched and listened very carefully. And Walter, you're right. I mean, kids learn, they're like a sponge. And if you're good with money, which my parents were very good, and I just took little niblets here and there, and just they never sat me down and had a conversation, even once. But I watched and I learned, and I think that goes a long way. So, parents need to realize that it's not even just money either. It's everything, So, great conversation, Walter. If people want to find out more about you, or maybe they want to find out more about the 401 Kid or any of these books, where do they find them?
So it's 401kid education.net is we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on we publish different kind of content on occasion. So
okay.
Love it.
All right. Well, listen, we appreciate you being on the On Your Side podcast, and probably somewhere down the road you're going to have grandkids, so maybe they can, you can help read this book to them.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, what a great conversation, talking about kids and money, and I mean, what a great book too, the 401 Kid by Walter. How has this changed your thinking? Because I know you've thought a lot about money and the kids. Has this changed your mindset any?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just reinforces the value of continuing the conversation, and maybe even in those little moments when you're going through the grocery store, talking about the price of the eggs or the cookies that we're not buying because that didn't fit into the budget. Like I think that kind of empowered me to take that extra step and even talk to the 1-year-old, almost one, while we're pushing her through the car.
Right.
Like you can just talk about those things, price tags, discounts. It all kind of goes into this little puzzle. I don't know.
I always like advocating for people and telling them, for instance, if you take your child through McDonald's and you get a Happy Meal because it's lunch or they just need a snack or whatever, and the Happy Meal costs $7 or $8. I don't even know what it costs nowadays, but let's just say $7 for a Happy Meal. get them to identify with that $7 by saying, okay, how much is in your piggy bank? How many quarters do you have in there at home? And that's how much it's going to cost you to buy this Happy Meal if you had to buy it. I think that's a great way to kind of help them equate what those quarters mean to what they can buy.
Yeah, what mom and dad are doing is a big deal.
Listen, being a mom and dad is a tough job.
It's not for the faint of heart.
It's not. and you try your best to instill everything you can in them. So anyway, great conversation.
Awesome conversation.
And I'm interested to read that book. The On Your Side podcast is produced by Brad Denny. Our audio engineer and editor is Todd Martin. Segment producer is Colin Stanton. And I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell. If you have a problem you can't resolve, maybe we can't, send us a message through azfamily.com or our AZ Family mobile app. Look for the On Your Side section and leave us a message. Thanks so much for listening to the On Your Side podcast. And if you like it, leave us a review. We'll see you next week.
On Your Side is on Good Morning Arizona every weekday morning at 6:45 and 7 o'clock. And every weekday evening on Good Evening Arizona at 4 and 5 o'clock. You can also catch it on Arizona's Family News at 9 on 3TV every weeknight.